Welcome, everybody. This is Dawn. Thanks for popping into this webinar. All right, this is exciting. I have been talking about open listings over and over and over again for a while, and here's why. My State MLS started in New York. We are the New York State Multiple Listing Service. We're also My State MLS, the nationwide multiple listing service. But here's an old trick. Sorry, guys in New York. I'm about to out your old trick. The New York agents do this all the time. They use something called open listings to get leads. Now, they generally do it with rentals. It's very popular with rentals. In New York City, there's very tall buildings. And in those tall buildings, there's sometimes thousands of apartments. And there's management companies that manage multiple of those buildings, and they need to get several hundred sometimes rented every month. They can't do that by themselves, really. So what they do is they allow real estate agents to bring them potential tenants. They pay them if they bring them a tenant, or sometimes they make the tenant pay them. But they allow them to list the units for rent as an open listing. Actually, in New York City, they call it limited exclusive. It's really not much different than an open listing. So there's this thing called limited exclusive. Open listing, same thing. It's when multiple agents are allowed to bring a potential buyer or tenant or customer to fill that unit. Now, this works very well with new developments as well. In a new development, usually a big condo building, this works great in Miami, works great in New York City. It'll work anywhere where there's condos or new construction. These big developments have, again, sometimes thousands of units to sell, and their little sales office needs all the help it can get. So what they do is they do all the marketing material. They make up beautiful pictures. They make up all the floor plans. They give you all the marketing material. And if you go to them and you ask them, you say, "Hey, are you realtor friendly?" That's all you got to say. You can even make a call. You can be like, "Are you guys realtor friendly?" Because if they're realtor friendly, they're going to say, "Yeah, we are." And they're going to give you the marketing material so that you can now market their properties. Why would you want to do that? You're not guaranteed to get paid when you market their properties. But let's just say you have no listings, or you have a couple listings, but they're in contract, or they go into contract right away. How are you going to generate leads? I mean, people don't generally look for a real estate agent per se. They look for a home. They look for a place to live, either a rental or a purchase. Now, in most of the areas where I've seen so far in New York City, in anywhere in Florida, anywhere, pretty much anywhere in this market, living somewhere is very hard. It's hard to find a place to live right now. There is no vacancy anywhere. And because there's no vacancy, there's nothing to buy and there's nothing to rent, but there's still people who need a place to live because people are still growing up and getting married and having kids, and those kids are moving on and people are living longer and they're staying in their home. We have a shortage of inventory, a huge shortage of inventory. They can't build this. They can't build the units fast enough for people. Someone's saying they can't hear me, but there's people who are saying they can hear me. I just want to make sure you guys that I didn't cut out. Okay. So because there's no inventory, people will look for a place to buy. And then when they can't find a place to buy, they're going to look for a place to rent. So don't be afraid to take rentals, because when those people are looking for a place to rent, they're really looking for a place to buy. And they have something to sell. Because in this market right now, people are going, wow, it's high. I paid $200,000. I could sell my house for $1 million. I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I got to find a place to go. What am I going to do? I'm going to look for a place to rent. So you really want to list rentals. You list those rentals, people will call you. Start talking to them. Hey, what can I do for you? I need a rental. Don't go, oh, we don't do that, and hang up. Oh, you need a rental? Why you need a rental? I need a rental because I'm going to sell my house for $1 million and pocket 800 grand. That's why. Oh, have you listed your house for sale yet? No, 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 I can't list my house for sale till I find a place to go. I got to find a place to go. Oh, well, can I come over and I'll give you a price opinion on your house, and I'll tell you how much I could sell your home for, and maybe we could see if we could get you a little more money, or maybe you're not right about that. Sure, come on over. List my house. As long as you can find me a place to go. So don't shun rentals. They're like gold that people don't realize that they're gold. And some of you who know that rentals are gold are like, shut up, Dawn. Stop telling people. We've been using this trick forever. We've been using the rental trick forever to get leads, to get listings, and make quick money because you get paid for the rental. So you get real quick money and get a couple $1,000s in your pocket real quick just by helping somebody get a rental, because rents are high right now. And if you even get half a month, it's a $4,000 rental, you get $2,000. Who wouldn't want to do that? That's a quick deal. So what I'm telling you is, here's how you're going to do it. You're going to go to the big complexes. Some are going to say, no, we're not realtor friendly. I went to one right here by my office just to see if this would work. And there's a brand new one by my office. I walked over and I said to the lady, are you realtor friendly? And she said, we're not. We used to be, but we got bought by a new company, and now we're not allowed to compensate real estate agents. I said, oh, that's too bad. I said, how many vacancies do you have here? I said, well, we're about half full. I said, you got half to fill? They'll be realtor friendly again real soon because they're brand new complex. They just built them. They haven't all been finished yet. But then she did tell me, she said, our old company is very realtor friendly and they manage 10 other properties in the area. I said, oh, that's nice. What are the names of those properties? I wrote them all down. I called them up. I called them up. I said, are you realtor friendly? Yes, we're realtor friendly. We want you to bring us tenants. Can I advertise your rentals? Sure. They'll give you the pictures, the floor plans, permission. Make sure you get permission. You can't do it without permission. First, you wouldn't want to do it without permission because then you won't get paid. And you also you can't do it without permission. You have to have permission, especially to list in My State MLS. But now you're going to get these open listings. And where are you going to do with them? Because for the most part, you can't put open listings in a multiple listing service. Some MLSs allow it. My State MLS allows it. New York State MLS allows it. But a lot of MLSs, it's a big no-no. So you can't do that. You got to go into My State MLS and you have to opt in for open listings. And that's important because in My State MLS, it is an additional feature to opt in for open listings. And it's an additional feature for a reason. It's because we advertise the listing for you and help you get the leads as well as just allowing you to enter them. Because they're not co-broked listings. So they're not going to show up in the regular search, but they are going to show up on our public search. And we are going to send them to certain sites where you will generate leads. Now, we had a member, you guys may have heard this story. We had a member who got 385 listings in 30 days. The original challenge was for her to get 200 listings in 30 days. And I asked her, I said, can you get 200 listings in 30 days? She said, no way, it's not possible. And she looked at me and she goes, what about 100? And I said, no, it's got to be 200. So she said, I can't do it. And then I just told her the story that I just told you guys, exactly how to do it. And a couple days goes by and she didn't do it yet. And next thing I know, she called me up. She goes, Dawn, I went to this place in downtown and they're building these beautiful condos and they let me be on the list to sell the houses, to sell the condos. I said, you got a limited exclusive? She said, yes, I'm not the only agent. There's other agents, but they gave me a limited exclusive, which is essentially an open listing because you don't have the right to co-broke it. But she told me they're paying 6% if she sells them. I said, wow, you get the whole commission. When an open listing happens, that's it. You get the whole commission. So she got those 20, 25 listings. I don't know how many they were in that first complex. And they topped out at $29 million or something. There was a penthouse for $29 million. And the cheaper ones were like 750, 800 million. So she puts them in, she starts putting them in the system. Then she gets the taste for it. Now she's got 20 some odd listings. She's like, this is great. She starts putting them in My State MLS. So she goes around and she starts driving everywhere. She's looking for cranes on tall buildings to pull over to say, okay, here's a new construction condo building. Let me go in there and let me walk in there and let me say to these guys, hey, are you realtor friendly? So she did that. A couple times she got shot down. Nope, can't do it. But then she found a whole bunch that let her. She wound up with 385 listings. I think she's probably got about 12 complexes that she's now on the list where she's allowed to bring buyers as opens and limited exclusives even in some of them. It gave her a really good opportunity to meet with these places too, because if you ever wanted to turn this business, if you do really well marketing for them, you could then learn how to turn this business into how to become exclusive agent for some of these builders. This is how you get the rapport, bring them some buyers, and they'll know you mean business. But what do you do with them after you put them into My State MLS? How does that happen? What do you got to do? Well, you got to enter them just like a regular listing, okay? But they're not regular listings. They're not found in the regular search. They're an advertisement. And so My State MLS, we're going to advertise them for you on our main page. We're also going to send them to some third-party sites that are going to give you leads. And she did receive many, many leads from these listings that she got. Now she put the work in. I'm not gonna say this is no work, but it's definitely work. You can do that, but you have to put the work in. Oh, what happened to this page? So your listing contract defines your listing type. Let's talk a little bit about listing contracts. Most of you know what an exclusive right to sell listing contract is. An exclusive right to sell listing contract means when I take it, I can get paid no matter what. If the homeowner sells it to his brother, I still get paid. Everyone likes an exclusive right to sell. It's the best contract there is. Who doesn't want an exclusive right to sell? But you can't always get them. That is why you don't have a lot of listings, because exclusive right to sell contracts, you have to find somebody who wants and needs to sell their home and has a place to go. So how do you jumpstart your business? Because you really need listings to get leads to jumpstart your business. That's when you go move to the open type of contract. That's where you can go to these developers. You can also go to homeowners, by the way. You can go to some for sale by owners. And let's say that you go to a for sale by owner and they say, no, no agents. Get out of here. I'm not listing with you. I've got 10 calls today from listing agents, but none from buyers. And you say, wait, you got 10 calls from listing agents, but none from buyers? Do you know why that is? Oh yeah, the 10 other guys told me that it's because I don't know how to do it and I didn't price it right. But I'm not giving any of you guys a contract to list my house. Okay. Let's say you're not going to give me a contract to list my house. I know, Mr. Home Seller, you are very adamant about not using a realtor, but that's because I know you think you can sell it yourself. But what if I could bring you a buyer that makes you a deal you can't refuse and I get you more than you can get yourself? No obligation to me. Let me bring a buyer. If I bring that buyer, you're going to pay me X and you're still going to net more than you've got it listed for right now. Let me see if I can do that. And then the buyer starts thinking, yeah, well, if I could make the same amount of money, I'm okay with that. All right, but I'm not giving you a commitment, Mr. Realtor. And so Mr. Realtor says, well, how about this? You give me the right to advertise. I'm going to give you what we call an open listing agreement. And that's what we have on the screen here. And in My State MLS, we have this on our resources and forms page. So you're going to want to go to the resources and forms page, and you're going to want to print out this open listing agreement. In our digital documents, if you have a digital document subscription, you may also find the open listing agreement. This is going to guarantee that you're going to get paid. You're going to fill this out, and you're going to explain to them, this is not any type of obligation to me except for the fact that if I bring a buyer that you sell to, you're going to pay me X, whatever you put in there. So I've already talked about where to find these open listings. You find them in new construction developments. You can find them in rental complexes for sale by owners, expired listings. Now, I'm going to go over why you want to do this. Expired listings are a biggie. Don't go to expired listings that expired yesterday. What you want to do is go to an expired listing that expired a year ago and hasn't sold, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it hasn't sold. Why? Wasn't marketed properly. The person had it too high. But you want to get that listing. And that seller probably still wants to sell. Maybe they expired the listing because they didn't have a place to go. So you go in there and you say, Mr. and Mrs. Expired listing property owner, I would like to list your property for sale. No, we're not listing it with an exclusive. Try to get an exclusive right to sell. When you can't get an exclusive right to sell, take it as an open. It's going to be a lot easier to get. You'll be able to negotiate. You might even be able to flip the open into an exclusive. A lot of New York City agents do that. They take those open listings and they flip them into exclusives by doing a good job on the marketing. So that's what you want to do. Also hard to get exclusive right listings. You really want that listing, and that seller is tough. Or if it's a big commercial property, you might want to approach those. Those are some things that you might want to turn into open listings. So now here's a step-by-step on how to do it. You reach out to the developers, the FSBOs, the property owners. You ask if they're working with a buyer's agent. You offer to advertise their property. You tell them it's free advertising for them. If they agree, you help them find a buyer with an open listing. You enter it on My State. Here's the big kicker. Here's how you get the leads. Gotta share the listing. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Now on Facebook, what you do is you go on Facebook and you've shared it. The biggest thing you need to do on Facebook is use the hashtag. The hashtag is the number sign, the pound sign. Hashtag the thing that's interesting about the listing. It is a single family home. It is for sale. It is for sale in the town that it's in. And hashtag it all out. After you hashtag it out, boost the post. When you boost the post, you need to select lead. It'll ask you, it will say, what kind of boost do you want to do? You say, I want to boost for leads, lead generation. And it'll let you make a lead generation form. Spend $10 a day. I spent $15 a day. Cheap. On $15 a day, this agent that got these 385 listings, she did this. She received over 40 leads at $15 a day over not even a 5-day period. I don't even think she spent 150 bucks. So it was an insane amount of leads she got. She also got leads from big third-party sites that took those open listings. Now, Zillow, Realtor.com, they don't take open listings. We don't send it to them, they don't take them. But there are sites that do. There are some list hub sites that take them. And those list hub sites generate leads. And she got several leads from it. She told me she's working with, I think, 8 different potential buyers now. She even gets she's getting some listings out of it. So you definitely want to do that. You get a lawn sign. Lawn signs are great. I mean, you want to do this with a lawn sign. So how do you enter an open listing on My State MLS? The same way you enter an exclusive listing on My State MLS. You have to click on the listing tab, and then you have to click on enter the listing. So you enter it just like an exclusive. If you have an old one, you can clone it if you have permission to advertise multiple units. So let's just say you get 20 in one complex, you put in the first one, you can keep cloning it. So you don't have to retype it 20 times, just change what's different about the second one. If the pictures are a little different, if the bedrooms are different, if the price is different, just change those couple different things and you're all set with that. And then you do the sharing and you get all the lead gen. So what I want to know is, what questions do you have about this? Have any of you tried an open listing? First, do that. Tell me in the questions tab, have any of you ever taken an open listing or tried to take an open listing um, or used this tactic in any way? So some people are saying, oh, this is all new to me. So Brooke is saying this is all new to me. Is this all new to all of you? Is this, oh, Faith wants to know what an open listing is. Okay, so we went over this in the beginning, but I'm gonna tell you one more time. An open listing is a listing that doesn't have an exclusive right to sell contract. So I'm gonna go back to the open listing contract. If you can look at my screen and still see it, that is an open listing agreement. You can get that in My State MLS, and that is permission to list a house, and that if I bring a buyer, I get paid. If somebody else brings a buyer, they get paid. If the homeowner sells it themselves, the homeowner pays nobody. That's an open listing. Now, some states, apartment, rental, however, but some states require agency. You know what agency is? Agency is when you're faithful, a fiduciary to the person who's letting you list the property. You can have agency with an open listing agreement. That doesn't affect how you're going to be paid. The agency means that you have to be the fiduciary to the seller, or you have to tell the seller that you're the fiduciary to the buyer, which means you have to sign an agency agreement with them. Most of your states have that. You do that anyway. That's no big deal. That doesn't obligate you or not obligate you. It spells out what you're going to do as a broker, who you're going to be loyal to. But you do that on every deal, right? You're supposed to do that, especially in New York. You have to sign an agency agreement. In first contact, you have to say, hey, Mr. Seller, I'm going to represent you, or hey, Mr. Buyer, I'm going to represent you. So an agency is different than an open listing agreement. An agency disclosure, and you do that anyway. An open listing agreement is just going to guarantee that you get paid if you are the bringer of the buyer to the seller. And it just works just like a regular contract here. I mean, you put the dates in, you put in what the price is, what they agree to pay you. If you bring the buyer, if you've got some additional terms you want, like, nothing's going to stop you from splitting this with another broker too, if they're the ones who have the buyer and you just bring them the deal, if you want to do that. But that's the counterintuitive to the open listing advertisement part of it. So that's what an open listing is. Now, lead gen, that's the key. Qualified leads. The leads from Facebook on your Facebook page. You share the open listing to your Facebook page, you boost the post. Now, I have done that in Facebook before, and let me ask you, any of you do Facebook advertising? Any of you guys? Any of you guys do Facebook advertising? Let me know in that questions tab there. So some say yes, some say no. I'm getting some, like Margaret says, yes, I do marketplace and feed. Some people say I've done it before. Some people have said no. Oh, hey, Nola, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're here. Nola says that she doesn't do it, but Facebook advertising is great. All you have to do in My State MLS, and I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to bring up my My State page on any listing. So I'm going to bring up a listing, not one of mine, but just a listing on My State. Sorry. I'm going to just bring up an active listing on My State. Let's just bring it down. Okay. So if you have a listing and you want to share that listing as a post, when you're in My State or New York State MLS and you're looking at a listing, you can share that listing over here by clicking Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, or you can hit the little printer button if you want to print it and print it to a PDF and share it that way. Once you hit this Facebook button, this listing will go over to Facebook and it will populate Facebook and it will populate it as a post on Facebook. So because this isn't my listing, I'm not going to advance that listing, but I'm going to see if I can find my Facebook page. Now let's see. Facebook Marketplace. Okay. I'm on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to bring that up for you. And let's see who does list on Facebook Marketplace. Here's some property rentals. Now, this is great stuff. I listed a rental on Facebook. I got like 150 leads. I'm not kidding you. And several of them had a house to sell. It was an insane amount. But anyway, you can come on Facebook Marketplace. You can share the posts here, and then you can spend a little money, $10 to boost the posts. Now, you don't need My State to put the house on Facebook, but what you do need is My State to have the listings look legitimate. They're on a legitimate multiple listing service. There's a lot of scams on Facebook, and there's a lot of scammers in both ends of it. You don't want to be one of those people. So be careful of that. You don't want to be known for that. All right, I want to answer any questions that you guys might have. Let me just see if I can get the questions up here. Somebody's asking me, can a seller have multiple open listing agreements with multiple agents? Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. Why is that good? Why is that bad? You might say, well, that's bad because another agent can list that property too. They can. You get a higher commission though. Like I said, the broker who did this test for me, she's getting 6 and 7% on every deal. That's not bad. All she has to do is find the buyer. There's multiple units. She's got several hundred of them to sell. So yes, a seller can sign with multiple. I'll tell you, I was in upstate New York when I was first getting my real estate license. This was like 20 years ago. I had my license, I think 19, almost 20 years so far. And one of the things that they told me back then, this was 20 years ago, that there was a county in upstate New York, Columbia County, and I ended up living there later, but not at that time, I didn't live there, that the agents all took open listings. And what that meant was the seller would let anybody sell it. I'm like, come on, bring me a buyer, I don't care. And they would put multiple signs on the lawns. I think it's a little crazy, I'm not for that. because that gets confusing to the consumer. You don't want to be confusing to the consumer with multiple signs like that. But yeah, a seller can list with more than one agent. So you might be thinking of a way to prospect, right? Which is why we don't put the open listings in the regular search. They're not as easy to find or to identify, but they are easy for the public to find when they're looking for a place to live. So that's how we do that. Anybody got any more questions about this? What would this is from Margaret. What would 3 actionable items you suggest we do after this session? Thank you. Well, Margaret, if you're a member of My State MLS, the first actionable item is to opt in to open listings. There is an extra fee for it, I'm going to tell you that. And the reason that we do that is because there's extra rules around open listings, and it had to be written as different codes. And the different rules around open listings exist because we don't want internet junk. And so we had to solve a problem of internet junk, people who just put up stuff and then they never keep it updated. So there's more work for us, which is why there's an extra charge also because it's an advertisement. The next thing you do, and Margaret, tell me where you're located, city, state, something. Terry, oh, Southwest Florida. Oh, good. Oh, like Naples-ish? Okay, good. This is perfect. Go on Google. I'm going to help you out. All right. I'm going to go on Google and I am going to type in, hang on one second. Let's type in new condos, Naples, Florida. This is the first thing I would do. Okay. And I would check out some of these babies right here, like, this one. Ritz-Carlton residences. Do I know if they'll be realtor friendly? I don't. So what I would do is I would get in my car and I would go over to this place. You could call them first and call them here. And when they pick up, ask them if they're realtor friendly. Tell them you're a realtor, you have some customers you'd like to bring. Do they compensate realtors? Yes or no? If they compensate realtors, great. Hey, if you compensate realtors, would you let me advertise this property on my website or on my MLS or on my Facebook page? If they say yes, they'll even give you the pictures. They'll give you everything. They'll give you floor plans. They'll give you these details. They'll give you all of this stuff. And you get to put this stuff on My State MLS. And when you can upload all of this to My State MLS, which is great because now it's your listing. After you put it in My State MLS, now so you've opted in for open listings, you've gone to a development, you've gotten permission to list. Okay. The next step, you enter the listing into My State MLS. Then make sure that you share that listing from My State MLS to Facebook and make sure that you opt in for the syndication that we'll do for it. We're going to send it to third-party sites that take it. And those third-party sites, where you're going to get your leads from. That's how you're going to do it. Man, are you going to get leads, but it's not going to be as easy as you think. You do have to do the work. You have to do the legwork. So you can also go, instead of Googling new condos, you can Google new rental communities. Naples, Florida. Okay. And look for like Legacy Naples Apartments now leasing. Call these guys up. Ask them if they're gorgeous. Ask them if they're realtor friendly. They're realtor friendly. They give you permission to list this property. Can you imagine if you had hundreds of listings this beautiful that were your listings? You'd be ready to go. Someone's asking me how to become a member of My State MLS. I am with Stratus. Oh, you're on Long Island? Go to here. This is easy. Go to My State MLS. Oh, actually, if you're in Stratus, you want to go to NewYorkStateMLS.com. But just so you know, New York State MLS and My State MLS, same thing. But if you're in New York, you want to join NYStateMLS.com. You become a member of My State, same rules. You have to get the list wherever you're licensed. It's just for marketing purposes. We still have the New York MLS. Someone's asking, is it possible to have my local MLS on my website as well as New York MLS? John, you're asking that question. The answer is yes. You can have our IDX and a local MLS's IDX and as many as you belong to. So if you're a member of 5 MLSs, you can have all of those listings on your website. Almost all the tech vendors have our feed, like the iHome Finder and IDX. John, tell me who's your web developer or your tech vendor where you get your listings from for your website. John, tell me that. So, oh, John's, oh, in progress? Oh, John, do you need a website? John might need a website. Let me see if John needs a website. If John needs a website, if you haven't started yet, get in touch with us. We can help you. We can help you build a website if you haven't hired a website developer yet. We have an IDX iframe now, which is a new product, which is an easy way to get the New York State MLS and the My State MLS listings on your website. Or you could go with any tech vendor like iHome Finder, IDX Broker, Top Producer, Market Leader. All of those guys have the New York State and My State feed that they can integrate into your website. Someone's asking me, Stephen is asking me the biggest advantage of open listings on My State versus listing on New York State MLS. Same thing. If you're in New York and you're a member of New York State MLS, your listings are on My State too. You are officially a New York State MLS member, is also a My State member. And your listings will come up in the search whether I search on My State or New York State. So you get both with your membership. You get the nationwide MLS. So when you are a member of New York State MLS and you go out and you tell your potential listing clients, hey, I'm going to list your property on New York State MLS, but New York State MLS is also going to list on My State MLS, which is the nationwide multiple listing service. And that'll put you far above your competition when you're out on listing appointments. Someone is saying open listings MLS does not apply to properties in New York, New York. Correct? Wrong. Teresa is asking this question. She wants to know if she can do open listings in New York. Of course, that's where it originated. That was the original place, is open listings in New York City. They use New York City, and the Hamptons, open listings like crazy. Estella's asking if LIBOR members are members of New York State MLS. No, they're not. We're not affiliated with any board of realtors. You do not need to be a member of a board of realtors to join New York State MLS or My State MLS. You can join individually as long as your broker agrees to our participation agreement. And it does not cost your broker any money to agree to our participation agreement. So Terry is looking for the open listings form on New York State MLS. She can't find it. Terry, I'm going to drop a link to the listings form on our resources and forms page so that you can then get that open listing agreement. It's called, let's see. For draft purchase, let me find it for you 1 second. You know, I thought I saw it here myself, but now I think you're right. You cannot find it here. Let's figure out why. You see, open listings by our broker, offer to purchase. We're going to get that up there for you, and I'm going to personally email you the link to it after this webinar. So do me a favor, put your email if you'd like to receive it in the questions, comments, forums. Let me just look here on resources and forums. I know I have seen it here. I've been on it, but it may have been updated so that I can't find it. I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it all to you, and we'll make sure that we'll get it up here. We did have it up here. I know for a fact because I have a screenshot of it in my thing. Okay, so anyone who wants that, put your email address into the chat, and we're going to I will personally email you all the link to the open listing contract. Look at that, everybody wants it. Somebody's asking me, will you have access to replay this again? Yes, we will, as we always do. Put it up on our YouTube channel. Oh, hey guys, I'm gonna use this opportunity now. Everybody who's here, who's listening to me, if you want to hear this again or see it again, do me a favor on your computer now, after you give me your email address, go to youtube.com and in the search, type in Go Home TV, all one word. That's our channel. Hit the subscribe button to that. And when you click on it, we will upload, as we always do, our videos and our webinars that we always play. So any of these will be played back for you. Now there's also some other videos here that can help you. We have videos on how to buy foreclosures at auction. This was actually just put up. This is a very exciting one. How to buy houses at auction, how to list houses at auction that were auctions, how to find listings that are coming up for foreclosure auction. So you're going to want to watch this video, how to buy real estate at auction, episode 1. Then another good video for you to take a look at is tax advice for real estate pros. And some of the things he's talking about here, what do you do if you have a tax lien on a house you're selling? Like you go and you take a listing and then you find out, oh my God, there's a tax lien on this house. How am I ever going to sell it? I can't get clear title. So this guy here, he's an IRS expert, and he's going to tell you how you can get a house sold that has tax liens on it. You can also actually prospect for listings by looking for tax liens, you know, because then you become an expert on how to sell houses even with a tax lien. And then there's a way to find the latest mortgage rate. So there's a whole bunch of really good videos here. And then of course there's another video about the open listings. So you can subscribe to our channel, and then you'll get notified that you can actually hit the little bell so you can get notified, and we'll put this webinar up once we edit it, and we're going to email you all. So if there's no more questions, I'm going to wrap it up. If you do have a question, there's our phone number, 888-769-7657. Or you can contact us, office at mystatemls.com, and we have a chat. Oh, someone's asking me. So we are a mobile home dealer. If we got a buyer for a seller with an open listing, how do we handle the transaction? Would we use our dealer offer to purchase contract, or can the seller provide his own? You can use whatever you want in your state, whatever works for you. The only difference between an open listing form and a exclusive form is it's an exclusive, you get paid no matter what. And if it's an open, you get paid only if you are the person who brought the buyer. That's the only difference. That can work with a mobile home, and it can work with a regular home, because it's just a difference in what you told the seller you were going to do. All right, this was awesome. Thanks so much. I'm going to end this, but we are going to email you personally with the open listing contract.